It's time to take your business to the next level, the boss level. These are the premier business owner strategies and successes being utilized by the industry's top talent today. Rock your business like a boss, a VO boss. Now let's welcome your host, Ann Ganguza.
Hey everyone, welcome to the VO Boss Podcast. I'm your host, Ann Ganguza, and I am excited, as always, to have with me my special guest co-host, Lau for Business Superpowers. Woohoo!
Hey!
Hey, Lau.
Hey, Ann. So great to be back.
It is wonderful to have you. So I was noticing, Lau, lately,
Yes.
it's the holiday season, or the holiday season is upcoming, and I have been seeing a lot of talk about gratitude and thanks, and people have 30 days of thanks, and I think it's a wonderful thing. I love being able to express gratitude. I think it's healthy for us personally, and I also think it's healthy professionally. But I also think we should be practicing gratitude year-round. And I think that gratitude can be a wonderful springboard for growth, for not only yourself personally, but for your business. What are your thoughts?
I could not have said that any better. And actually, you took the words right out of my head because
I did?
Yes, I was just working
Great
with
minds,
some.
Lau. Great
yes,
minds.
I was working with some clients, and we were saying, this particular talent, whatever, they should be thankful for having this particular opportunity because it's so interesting, it's so unique, and it's so hard to get. And I thought, oh my goodness, it's so true. Having gratitude, being thankful every single day, like writing it down, speaking it to someone, not just thinking it, right? And because when it's in our head, it's not always as real as when we're doing something actively. Right?
Yeah.
So if I'm thankful, I'm going to show an action based on that. If I'm really grateful for something, I might tell someone that I'm grateful. And that action is so important to do every single day of the year.
I consider it a springboard for so many good things that can happen from the start of just thinking of being grateful. It turns your mindset around from, let's say, complaining about something. Like, for example, it's been cooler now in Southern California. I, for one, love the cooler weather, but sometimes that means, well, now I got to turn the heat on. And so therefore now my heating bill is going to go up. Whatever it is, I'm just going to be thankful that I have a change of seasons here in California and I don't have to turn my air conditioning on. So I think it's a mindset switch from the thinking part of it. And then I think, like, as you were saying, I think putting things into action, telling people about what you're grateful for, or telling people, like, I'm grateful, Lau, that you are here today with me doing this podcast. And I'm grateful for all of the episodes that we've done so far. And I'm grateful for all the ones that are going to be coming up, because I think it's just done wonders for me personally to get to know you. And I have gratitude for you as a friend, but also as a professional partner. Really?
Well, I am so grateful that you thought to even ask me to be on the program. In fact, I'm going to go back before that. I'm grateful that we were on a panel together, right? The gods of the panel conferencing universe put us together. I'm grateful that we're assertive businesswomen and we're unashamed and not frightened to reach out to each other, even though we didn't know each other at all, and say, hey, let me celebrate you. Let me work with you. And bada bing, bada boom, as they say. I mean, it's like, wow, all of a sudden, project. You thought to invite me to your podcast, which has been an incredible experience. And it's just that journey. I'm thankful for the journey of going on the process.
That is what is so cool about it. You're right. It's not just a one-time thought of gratitude. It becomes this journey which can evolve into so much more. So one single thought of gratitude can evolve into much more. And that thought of, wow, we were on that panel together. Wow, this is great. This woman is amazing. Like, I really let me reach out to her and let's see if we can form a partnership and see if we can work together in some way. We work together. We now have this wonderful series of podcast episodes, and I have grown personally and professionally. So many opportunities have now opened up for our relationship that we've developed, right? Opportunities to meet other casting directors, to meet other people, to meet a wonderful VO family. And it makes me connect to my East East Coast roots. I mean, there's just so many good things that have happened from the one thought of grateful in my brain. So I love the action where you can not only think about what you're grateful for, but put it down on paper. I love the whole people putting what they're grateful for on Facebook or on Instagram, whatever your social media platform of choice. I think if everybody could just put what they're grateful for like every single day, wouldn't that just be a cool thing?
That's a great action to do. It's what I
Right?
call making sparks. If you can make sparks, then you can make fire. And making fire is really about, they used to say in business, I'm setting the world on fire. Not in any negative way, but like I'm awakening territory that I want to inspire new relationships, new
Right.
fertile grounds for business, for not only business, but also for friendships, also for social relationships. Like you have to have that action inside of you so that you can do the spark, so that you can catch fire a little. You can't always rely on other people to do that for you, right? And that one little spark, that one little thing you make could do a whole lifetime, could open up a whole lifetime of a trajectory of business and friendship and joy and health for you. And you go, oh my gosh, if I hadn't done that, all of this other stuff would not have happened.
I just saw that happen with a client that I had worked with, and I had the opportunity while I was at a conference to meet in person with them. And I remember, you wouldn't think that I'm a nervous type, but sometimes, right? Especially if this client was very well known, CEO, president of the company, that kind of thing. So when it comes time for me to just meet face to face for the first time, I'm a little bit like, oh my goodness, I've done some work and I've had some association, but not direct all the time.
Yeah.
And meeting this person and expressing my gratitude, being able to work with them, and how much I enjoyed it, how much I admired and respected their work, really led to this relationship where I felt great about it. But not only that, but I just got another invitation to do some more work for this client.
Yay!
So I believe that it truly led to other work. And it doesn't mean, now look, I think there's so many things that go into creating a good relationship with a client. It's not always about, Anne Ganguza has the best voice, right? It really becomes, she's got an amazing voice, but also she's wonderful to work with. She's easy to work with. She's reliable. And so those things all come into play. And when you're paying gratitude or respect to your clients, I truly believe that it will come back to you like threefold.
That's exactly it. And there's doing the check boxes, like it just makes their life so easy that you are a great package. You do know what you're doing. You're well prepped. You're professional. They don't have to worry about the trust factor. But there's so much more in all of that. There's almost like a mystique, like a mysticism of how people come together, how gigs get done, how process takes place. There's something very mystical about that. You can't always explain every single step. Like, how were we in particular invited to that panel? How did we notice each other and then reach out to each other? I don't know. There's kind of like an unspoken truth that we may not know what that is, and it's okay to not know what that is. That makes it exciting a little bit. It's not completely predictable.
Yeah.
All we know is we have the ability to assert ourselves and to put our best foot forward. That's like all we know. And then if it doesn't work out, we're eloquent about saying, okay, it's not going to work out now. Hopefully in the future it'll work out.
Yeah.
But being the fire starter, making that spark is really important, and not waiting for someone else to do it.
You know what else is interesting? And this is making me think now in terms of, I said, well, it's not always about your voice, right? It could be the whole package. I truly believe, especially in these times where we want authenticity, we want believability, I truly believe that you bring to the party, that unique part of you, if gratitude is a part of that, I think it's an attraction, right, for other people. And so even though you might be reading somebody else's words from a script, that gratitude is part of your personal makeup. And that personal makeup is part of that you that you're bringing to the party. And I believe that the positivity, I think there's a lot of positivity around gratitude that comes with just you being authentic and then bringing that authentic you to the script. even if it's like behind, let's say, a character that's an evil villain or whatnot, there's still a part of you that you're bringing to it that cares that you're entertaining or cares that you're connecting. And I think that, like you said, that kind of part that you can't touch or feel it, that part is an important part of your voice and the package that you bring to the table. So I think that gratitude is one of those personality traits or one of those emotions that I think can really come out and affect your physical voice as well.
No question. I think it affects everything, not just your mindset and your voice. It affects your body and how you move in space and how you make people feel. I always feel like whether you're at home in your home studio or whether you're at an office or going to someone else's rehearsal place or place of business, how do you make people feel at home? How do you host them in your space? And I always feel like if I come from a place of acceptance and gratitude and thankfulness and joy and appreciation, they feel that. There's a pathos in that. There's an emotional pathos that they just pick up immediately. That is not a self-centered, narcissistic kind of overly focused on myself kind of thing, but it's like, how are you feeling? Are you warm in this place? Are you comfortable? Do you have what you need? What have you? That, I always feel, comes out of knowing what to be grateful for. I don't think it's enough just to be grateful. I have to be specific, just like my vocal delivery. I have to be specific on what am I thankful for? What am I grateful for? Let me write that down. Let me talk that to someone. Let me tell them. I mean, I don't know. It's kind of spiritual, isn't it? If I tell you, like you just told me, I'm so thankful for you, Anne, to have you as my new friend, my colleague, someone who's an inspiration in my life. Oh, I just got goosebumps. My eyes got a little watery on that because it's emotional. It kicks up those muscles in you as an actor that go right into your muscles that are holding emotion, right? You see, my eyes got a little watery when I said that. I'm not upset or sad.
So it can make you a better actor. Look at that. I love that. I love that, right?
Yes.
So many good things that come from feeling that emotion and so much more moving forward energy than, let's just say, there's a lot of complaining going on in some of these social media circles, right? And I feel like it's one thing to, if you have something that you're unhappy about, maybe, I don't know, either getting it out, writing it down, whatever it is. But I think a constant rehashing and circling, and it's like some ball of negative energy. I don't think that that's necessarily healthy. So I think that the more positive things that you can spin and then encircle yourself with and discuss and tell and talk with, and I think the more forward we can move. I'm always about moving forward and not like staying in a pool of negativity.
I agree.
Right?
And, now that I think about it, I'm in the commercial market as an agent. I'm thinking that probably 80 to 90% of the copy that we see for talent is copy that you would describe as warm, friendly, healing, paternal or maternal, inclusive, all these terms that you think, okay, I'm an actor. How do I get that out? How do I do it on the spot? Well, how about this? One tactic is to do exactly what we're saying and be grateful. Write down what you're thankful for. Really pay attention to it in detail. Emotionalize it and feel it. So you can call upon that when you're doing that next healthcare read. You can call upon that when you're doing that next parental read. To say, wow, okay, I remember, I can recall, actors recall, I can recall what that actually feels like as me, a person. And then I can put that into my read. And now it becomes much more authentic and realistic to me as a person. Because that conversational thing throws us all the time.
It does.
What is conversational, And
you know what's so interesting? So I'm going to see that commercial and I'm going to up it with corporate copy, which honestly, if you think about it, it's the same end goal, right? Commercial, selling a product or selling a brand, same thing with corporate copy. Even though you might be delivering information like, here's our corporate governance, or this is who we are as a company, or this is a product that we're talking about as a company. It's just a longer format, but still the same end result, right? Companies want you to be on board with their product and with their brand so that ultimately you'll buy from them. But I always like to go all the way back and say, look, When I worked in the corporate world, I remember, and I think I mentioned this to you, I was employee number 246 at the company that I worked with out of school. And I loved the product. I loved the company. I loved what we did. I was passionate about it. I felt like we were helping people. I want everybody that's voicing a piece of commercial copy or corporate copy or whatever it is that has a product to think about that company. Ultimately, I want to look at the good and say that, well, whoever formed this company, let's say I'm speaking on behalf of, I don't know, Hoag Hospital or whoever that is, there was a good inherent in the formation of that company or that product because they wanted that product to help someone. And that's what I like to think in terms of when I'm going into a piece of copy, that there's always a good for this product that's going to help people. And when I think that way, that brings out that positive, that gratefulness, that thankfulness, and that becomes the real and the authentic part of me voicing copy from that. So it goes beyond just, well, let's say I remember that feeling from being grateful here, but here, let's put ourselves in the scene. Let's be an employee of the company and let's be grateful that we're offering something that can help others to do their jobs better, to be faster, whatever.
And that's that deep dive empathy factor that we're all kind of going for. We may not use it all the time, but we want to have access to that when we need to have access to that. And yes, it's not enough to say, oh, I understand it intellectually.
Right.
I get it. I'm thankful intellectually. That's the beginning. But I think the deeper dive is I can feel that. I can live that with you. I can go through the hardship of it. I can understand the problem solving, the need filling, the caretaking of that. I can get there. And because I can get there, there is that true authenticity to that kind of read. Whatever that read is, I would venture to say you could put that into anything, whether it was corporate or audiobook or e-learning or character. There's got to be a little nugget of something that, it reminds me of, Anne, remember in all the famous sitcoms, like all of our favorite sitcoms from the past, they always yuck, 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 yuck. They had their studio laugh traps, funny, 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 funny. And then there was this one moment would land the entire episode where everyone would get quiet in the studio and you'd find yourself crying. And you're like, why am I crying? It's like the Brady Bunch. Why am I crying? It's like MASH. Why did I feel that? Because they knew the writers were so smart. They knew how to take humor and all of a sudden land it in such a way where we started to feel like, ooh, this is a real person. And this is a real problem that we have to solve. And we're using humor to solve it in this case. And in the case of a sitcom, well, we're using all different kinds of tactics to solve our clients' problems. Not just humor, we're using a lot of tactics.
Right.
But the baseline is I have to land it. I have to feel what you feel. I have to move through it with you, and I have to solve it.
That's so interesting. And you said a word that I use a lot, and that's empathy. So empathy, when you are connecting with the copy and you are speaking to the person, right? You're speaking to a person who you want to empathize with. What are their pains? What are their joys? What are the frustrations? And I think that there's so many emotions that play into the grateful, thankful part of it that we tap into. And I think, what came first, the chicken or the egg? What came first, empathy or thankful? Like, do you know what I mean? I think they all can lead into a whole series of emotions. I think you can be thankful for just about everything in your life. I mean, I've always been that person that has tried to take what most people would consider a negative event and turn it into something that I'm grateful and thankful for. And one of those, and I've said it multiple times, and I'll delve a little bit into it, is my cancer diagnosis, right? I always had a passion for living and being grateful, but actually being diagnosed with cancer and then facing my mortality really made me a billion times more grateful for everything that I had and everything that I have now. And it's funny because I'm continually reminded in a way, because sometimes they say your journey is continual, right? I still go to the doctor. I still get checked up. And every time I go to get checked up, you don't think I check, what am I grateful for? What am I thankful for? I'm thankful that I got through another test. I'm thankful that so many things. And in a way, that's a blessing for me.
Yes.
And I can only see it as that because it helps me to always remind myself of what is wonderful in my life. What am I grateful for? What am I thankful for? And being in the booth, doing what I love. Of course, I was always thankful for it, but boy, am I thankful for it now, because it's something that I was able to do literally 2 weeks after a major operation. I was be able to get in my booth and do something that I loved, which I was thankful for. Thankful that I was able to do that, and thankful that I was still there to do it.
And you're not just a survivor. Now you're a thriver.
Yes.
Right? Because you're really utilizing
Mm-hmm.
this journey as one big tool of knowledge to understand how do I unlock that chest of deep emotion, like deep feeling, deep empathy.
Yeah.
And that to me is
absolutely,
that's the ultimate truth. And even for the listeners who say, oh, I can't do any of this, I don't get any of this, even from your business standpoint, just from your business standpoint, it allows you to come outside of yourself so you're not just self-reflecting all the time.
Right.
And open up the gestalt of your world. Really just see the full map of what's around you when you have that moment of thankfulness. It just makes you remember that, oh my gosh, I have a mother, or I have a husband, or I have a child, or I have a dog that I love so much. What would I do?
Right.
What would I do without that dog?
And that all contributes to not only your personal, but even your professional, because of what we do, which is so, I think, part of our person. It's so personal, and it's so gauged on how we can be real and authentic. And that's a privilege to be able to get paid for that, to be able to get paid, as an actor, right? To get paid for being able to bring those emotions to life and feel and express. And I think when it comes to being thankful and grateful, that the action, again, I love the action. Write it down, what it is that we're thankful for, but also let's express it. Let's take it one step further, right? So how can bosses benefit from being thankful and grateful? Well, I'm going to say, outside of your own personal growth and your business growth, extend that to your clients, right? Extend your gratefulness to your clients to really secure. I mean, Lau, you and I have talked about securing relationships and nurturing relationships. I'll tell you, that's one thing that will nurture your relationship with your clients. Express your gratefulness to your clients. And don't just do it once a year, at the holidays, or twice a year. At any given point, just a simple note. It makes you feel good too, right? When you send an email, or you pick up that phone and you're just like, thank you. I am so thankful for the opportunity to work with you. I really appreciate it. And I think that just extends goodwill, and it can help you grow your business.
And I had a new colleague, a co-producer in New York that I'm working with now, who said to me not when we very first met, but within the first few months, he had come to one of my events and he wrote back to me. I'll never forget this. He wrote back to me. He said, I'm so grateful to be a part of your life and your studio family. Thank you for including me in that. Just the way he said that, and that was on email, just the way he said that, I kept it and I never forgot. I just thought that was the sweetest, kindest, most beautiful moment of someone that I didn't know, really a stranger at all, who felt like he was so included. And I knew in that moment, in that moment when someone says that to you, Anne, not only are you doing your job, but you're also being a really progressive and thoughtful human being.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
I love that.
Because it can't just be about business, right?
Yeah.
It's got to be about human people and what we're doing and giving to one another. That's really what it is. No matter what holiday you celebrate, or if you don't celebrate any holidays at all, every day is kind of a holiday. Remember Madonna, holiday, celebrate?
Yeah, exactly.
Every day should be a little bit of a holiday for you to celebrate life and what life is offering to you.
I totally agree. And I think extending that gratefulness and that thankfulness to your clients, I think that is the epitome of, maybe not every single day, but absolutely that email. And I think also because we are so isolated in our studios, I keep going back to like when I was in the corporate world and I would go into the office every day and I would be surrounded by people. Or, when I first started in voiceover and I would go to an audition, I would be in a room full of people who are auditioning. I mean, it's kind of like being at the water cooler. And I feel like the gratefulness and thankfulness needs to be even more so because we are so isolated these days from the pandemic. Well, now we're getting more back into face-to-face, where I think that makes an even more meaningful contribution when you're thankful and grateful and you're there because you can see it, you can feel it. But if we're in our studios a lot of the time, I think we need to go an extra mile to showcase thankfulness and gratefulness to our clients because it's not so palpable if we're not like with them physically.
Mm-hmm. And on top of that, I mean, I think we would be off track if we didn't mention that every day you're going to get something that gets boomerang. It's going to be thrown in your path, a little obstacle, a little problem, a little something that doesn't go well. Be thankful for that.
Yes.
Be thankful because those are opportunities for you to learn and grow and feel hardship and feel fear and feel insecurity because that's what your client is feeling. That's what your colleagues are feeling. That's what people around you are feeling. Like,
that
I
brings
want to
the
be able
empathy.
to understand that. Yeah, I want to be able to live that a little, not all day long, but I want to be able to be in that and understand it so that I don't think, oh, everything's going to be smooth sailing. Everything's going to be easygoing. No, I have to be thankful for the moments that teach me things that I didn't know, or that I wasn't willing to look at or learn, and now I see it.
Yeah, absolutely. And being grateful for those moments, the moments when they're not all shining and rosy, just again, turns that into a positive moment. And of course, positivity is a springboard for so many wonderful things. So I love this conversation. I talk about gratefulness like every year, right around this time, because everybody's grateful and I talk about it. But I love the way that we deep dove into gratefulness and thankfulness and how it can positively affect you bosses out there by practicing it every single day. So, Lau, thank you so much. Really, I am grateful for this conversation. I loved it. Loved it.
I'm grateful for you, and how we unpacked this today was really quite amazing. So thank you for that. And I'm grateful that this has recorded so that we can reflect on it over and over and over again.
Absolutely. So I am going to give a great big shout out to our sponsor, IPDTL. You too can connect and show gratefulness and thankfulness with other bosses and clients and colleagues. Find out more at IPDTL.com. And also, guys, if you want to give back and have a chance to use your voice to make an immediate difference and give back to the communities that give to you, visit 100voiceswhocare.org to find out more. You guys have an amazing week. We are grateful for you. We love you, and we'll see you next week. Take care.
Take care.
Join us next week for another edition of VO Boss with your host, Ann Ganguza. And take your business to the next level. Sign up for our mailing list at voboss.com and receive exclusive content, industry revolutionizing tips and strategies, and new ways to rock your business like a boss. Redistribution with permission, coast-to-coast connectivity via IPDTL.